piece of pine and do a quick demonstration on this, on how to make a quick base out of this. Now what you see is I took just this $5, $6, or depending on where you're at, $10 piece of pine from Michael's that's been routed up every edge to give a kind of a bevel and a pattern, a nice shape that makes it look like almost like a frame. Now what I've done is I've taken this, I've sanded it down, I've shot it with painted it with some flat white primer. Then I sanded it again, then I went over it with some wood putty. Then I sanded it yet again and went over it with some gray enamel primer to set the base so they can be painted with black enamel. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to sand everything down one more time. Then I'm going to shoot it with a couple of coats of flat black enamel. Then I'm going to shoot it with a coat of gloss, and then we're going to go on from there. And there we go. As you can see, I shot this with about 3 or 4 coats of flat black. Then I went over it with gloss black. Then I did a final sand with 600 grit sandpaper wet. And then I shot it one more time with black enamel. Now, after that, and you can use this in a lot of things, not just model bases, but even your paint jobs on some of your models, because this black enamel paint or gray enamel or whatever color, you can buff it out to make it look like a beautiful car finish. Now what you need is you need rubbing compound, polishing compound, and some brand of car wax. The better the brand, the higher the cost, the better results you get. Now I used rubbing compound first to rub out any imperfections. Then I used polishing compound behind the rubbing compound to polish out any soft or gray or dull areas. Then after polishing out the dull areas, use car wax, 2 or 3 layers of car wax. The more layers you use, the thinner you lay it on, the more you buff, the deeper you're going to get. Now you can see this doesn't look like just any old black enamel. And all this was done with the materials that you see here. So if you want a beautiful gloss finish to anything that you're painting, whether it's a car, a piece of pine that you want to look like black enamel, there you go. Rubbing compound, polishing compound, and car wax. Then of course you're probably going to need some hand cleaner. There you go. All right, well I wanted to show you a couple of more things here real quick. This was just a piece of wood. And Truby Howard, my friend on Facebook, online, etc., can tell you the truth. This is just a piece of wood. And what I did is I sanded everything down. Now I didn't try to get a perfect finish, as you see. I wanted it to look like rough cut steel that had been waxed or buffed out, cleaned, polished, what have you. But to look rough cut. I didn't want it to look like some pristine mirror finish, except on top, which I haven't done yet. Okay, so I did the same thing with this piece of pine. Just a piece of pine. Sand. Now on the back here I didn't putty, obviously, but on the facing side, this side, I puttied and primed and painted and sanded and buffed and polished. And still, to give it a little bit of a rough finish, I wanted to give just a little bit of a rough finish, like this had literally been cut out of gold stock and then polished and buffed just on the top, okay, to give it some character and texture. So this is going to be Jack's model base, and what I've done here on top is I've taken some gold laminate, and after painting the sides that beautiful gold paint right there, okay, to give it that rough finish, that rough cut finish, I've laminated the top. Now with this gold vinyl laminate, all I've got to do is go around this with an X-Acto, trim everything out once and for all, and then mount it permanently to the black enamel base with the mirror finish, and of course add the silver chrome laminate to the triangular piece here that goes as part of the IDIC, mount the rod for holding the Vulcan shuttle, and then add the gem in the center. And this is really going to set off the Vulcan shuttle when it's done. And all that was done with pine and out of the store spray bomb paint from Home Depot or Walmart, gold and chrome, but you got to find some good stuff that you feel comfortable working with and do it your way. I've got a couple of different types of paint that I use. Rust-Oleum for one, Krylon for another. It all depends on the type of the paint. And if you ever use lacquer, trust me, it's going to take 3 or 4 days or a friggin' week for that lacquer to totally set up before you touch it. If you don't believe me, try it. You'll find out. Okay, on to the next thing. All right, so now we see my Nuka-Cola clock. All right, all I did was take a generic $3 thrift store clock, pull it apart, sand it down on the outside, paint it cherry red, paint the bezel or bevel white right here, pull out the glass, replace it with my own graphics, put the guts back in, put new hands on, boom, boom, I've got a Fallout Nuka-Cola clock from the video game, PC game, Xbox game, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, whichever one you like. See how easy that is? Boom, boom. I'm telling you, people, this model and prop making is not rocket science. I've worked in engineering all my life, and anybody can do this. Anybody with a little skill, a little talent. There you go.
I'll just keep getting stronger. You know that, don't you?